Let's get started. So I'm addressing this opening ritual to the ethereal community. Welcome all you Essenes, and welcome all you Magdalenes, and welcome all you children of the sun. We are the keepers of the Grail, and together we are the Holy Grail. And now let's bring in these physical beings, starting with Maggie of Everywhere and Nowhere. So glad you're stationary for a
Me
change.
too. Hello, everyone.
You're not interdimensional traveling, so I'm glad you're in your office.
Well, I kind of am, but I am in stillness for now.
All right. Welcome, Jimmy James. Have you changed your name, brother, from Guardian of the Veil, or what's up with that?
Thomas, it's going to be in limbo for just a little while. I'm changing a lot these last couple of days.
Nice, nice. We all are. I'm glad to hear the changes in the air. We'll wait
Yeah,
for it to come forward, and we're glad to have you. Welcome, brother.
thank you.
Welcome, Aloha Bonnie, who's relocated to Cottonwood.
Yes, thank you. Aloha.
Yeah. Oh, and welcome, Heather from Litchfield. Yay. Welcome, Allah from Cornville. Welcome, Catherine Ann of the Universe of Wholeness. Welcome, Pauline of Canada. Glad to have y'all. Welcome, Christy of the of Carmel. Yes, I get mixed up sometimes. So yeah, do get mixed up sometimes. So, and Karen Rose, and we have two Karens, so I have to look this one up. Karen Rose of Oceans is here with us today. Yay, Karen and Christy are with us and off camera. So glad to have you. Now let's turn it over to Catherine Ann, who's finally back with us. We
Okay.
missed you.
Yeah, I missed you guys. If I could have been different, I would have, but life
Yeah,
has its own timing or
yeah.
not. Okay, so just center in your heart and welcome your heart. Acknowledge your heart for always leading you, whether you pay attention to it or not. Welcome in all of your guides, angels, masters, teachers, healers, the Holy Family, the Councils of Light. Welcome them as part of your own matrix, for they're not separate at all from any part of you. Just acknowledge their presence and wisdom and guidance within you. And just acknowledge your own being, your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual being that interacts with all of these acknowledged interdimensional beings on a daily, moment by moment basis. Feel the love that they are extending to you and reciprocate that love back to all of the councils and beings and light that are gathered. Magnifying this within your heart, amplifying your heart and extending your heart to connect with all hearts that are on this call, with all the Magdalens and the Essenes, until we become one universal heart. Sending gratitude and acknowledgement. So be it.
Mhm. Thank you, Catherine Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bringing our heart into it, because I love the emphasis on the heart and not the intellect. Not that we want to throw out the intellect, but we really want to receive honest messages through our heart. Yeah. Whew, here we are. Yeah, Heather.
So I was wondering, the people living up in Cottonwood and Sedona, what's with the fire situation there? So I saw 27,000 in Cottonwood, 27,000 acres. Bonnie, are you
Um,
seeing that?
Yesterday was horrible with the air. My eyes were stinging all day, but today, not so much. We had a little bit of rain. I don't know if that helped any.
Mhm.
So I don't know I haven't been keeping up on it. Anybody else? A lot? Any?
I just saw it on Facebook, and it shows pictures, and I'm thinking, oh, I just hate it. This Oak Creek Canyon, I just hate it.
You said
Running.
I'm not
27,000?
aware of any, I'm not aware of any fire close to Cottonwood. What I read in
Okay.
the news this morning was the pocket fire that's up in Oak Creek Canyon, and a red flag warning, meaning the potential for that fire to get bigger, or other fires that, it's a time when we really need to be careful with fires outside. But I'm not being affected, and I'm not seeing much effect from my window here.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm seeing now, I'm looking here, it says it's actually in Utah. This Cottonwood is in Utah. Cottonwood
Oh,
Fire.
okay.
It's near
Okay, yeah.
State Route 153. So, okay, we're not worried about Cottonwood.
No,
Okay,
we do have a fire. We do have a fire going on, and it's
yeah,
not at all contained. But
but it's in,
today we had some rain. We had very little, but
yeah,
a
but
very
it's
little
Oak
rain.
Creek, it's Oak Creek near
Yeah,
West Fork.
Yeah.
yeah, it is Oak Creek Canyon, though. They've got that evacuated for 3 days
Yeah,
now. They've had it evacuated. People had to leave their homes.
yeah.
So, all right,
Yeah,
that's the worldly report. And now let's go into the otherworldly report.
I can say that it's a much better day today coming in Sedona than it was yesterday. Like Thomas
Yeah.
said, it was awful smoky, but this
Mm,
morning I came up to Sedona with a light drizzle and a few downpours. I didn't see as much smoke coming into town. Right now,
mhm,
I'm outside of the Sedona Library, and it is pristine
mm.
weather. So
Good.
hopefully it's behind us.
Yeah. All right, then. So we are at the end of chapter 35, at the very end, two paragraphs to the end. Yeshua's healing paragraphs, page 226 in the new book. And someone would, Heather was just holding up the old book. So maybe you can give us a
Yeah,
page number
269.
269. Okay. And where you left off, where it starts off, know that you are never alone. What a great way to start our reading today. So I'm going to ask Maggie to start us off and read the two final paragraphs, with the last one being really powerful. So, Maggie, if you don't mind reading that up to the first comma, read it at least twice. Let's really feel that phrase.
Okay. Know that you are never alone, nor
Mm-hmm.
the obstacles too great. Though at times the journey of the Christ will seem too difficult to bear, remember you will experience the beloved of your soul as your inner shepherd who nurtures and protects you. You will walk in life's green pastures as long as you acknowledge and align your will with the indwelling good shepherd's rod and staff that eternally connect with the source of your being. It just feels like plugging in, plugging in every morning, plugging in and keeping that source and remembering that you are connected at all times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Before you go on to the next paragraph, that first phrase, know that you are never alone, counteracts the illusion that we are alone, suffering, in separation. We are not. It's so
Mhm.
clear. We know that you are not alone. It's really important. It counteracts the false belief that we are in separation from God. Yeah. All right, we'll come back to it. Let's go do that second paragraph and we'll come back and look at all of it.
I'm sorry, I was reading Christie's.
Yeah,
I'm
let's read. Go ahead,
can't
let's read that out.
multitask right
Yeah.
now. It's
Maggie's
one
not
thing at a
good.
time.
Maggie's not good at multitasking anymore.
No, it's over.
Yeah, so let's see, Christy. Maybe Christy, or maybe you're driving. I don't know. It says some foreshadowing here of Mary reading him the 23rd Psalm, the night of the Last Supper. I
Hmm.
would love some explanation on that if you have. She might be driving though, so sometimes she's driving on Thursdays.
Yeah, no, I can talk.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Just
That'd be great.
with what he just said about the green pastures and the
Mm.
peace and the
Uh,
shepherd.
Hmm.
mm.
That's what I meant that because it was pretty much the same wording almost of what Mary Magdalene reads to him when she reads to him the 23rd Psalm at the Last Supper.
Beautiful.
So
Now I got
he's yeah, so he's
Nice.
saying the same thing to us right here, just about life.
you. That's a great. You don't happen to have that quote handy, do you? That you happen to have a Bible handy? I
Yeah.
don't.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you get that ready? And I'm going to tell Christina that we are on page 226 in the new book. The last paragraph of the chapter 35, which we've taken many, many weeks to do because it's the healing chapter.
Hmm.
And we're at the very last paragraph. But the second to the last paragraph, Christy found a nice reference to the Psalm. I think it's though you walk in the valley of darkness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. And then, of course, depending on what translation you read
Mm-hmm.
it from. Um, but yes, I have it. So whenever you want me to read.
Yep. Go ahead, Christy.
Okay. So the 23rd Psalm, it's a deeply comforting biblical passage attributed to King David. And it portrays God as a loving shepherd who provides, protects, and guides believers through all of life's changes. 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
What a great picture of we are never alone. Yes. Know that you are never alone. That's beautiful. Thank you for that classic psalm.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
So with that, can I read it again?
Sure. And let's just welcome Christina of In Between. Welcome. Thank you for
Hi,
being here.
Christina.
Welcome, Ian, coming in. And before you start, Maggie, let's check in with Catherine Ann. You are muted. That's my job. It's my job.
I said I just have a story to share, but Maggie can read it again before I share.
Okay,
Are you
perfect.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Know that you are never alone, nor the obstacles too great. Though at times the journey of the Christ will seem too difficult to bear, remember you will experience the beloved of your soul as your inner shepherd who nurtures and protects you. You will walk in life's green pastures as long as you acknowledge and align your will with your indwelling God's shepherds, rod and staff that eternally connect you with the source of your being.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
based on you reading that, Christy, it feels different. It feels really comforting and
Yeah.
loving.
Yeah, very comforting and loving, definitely. And that's why I thought it was so,
Thank you.
of course, that's why I thought it was so beautiful and profound when Mary Magdalene read it to him, for him to be deeply comforted too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The healing part.
And Yeshua comes from the house of David, so it's all connected. I like too that it says align your will. Isn't that sort of the requirement? Like aligning our will with God, with the indwelling good shepherds. Yeah. Alignment. That's our work.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's go on over to Catherine Ann.
Hey, several years ago, I was in the middle of a breakup and I was just an emotional wreck. So I'm asking for help, right? And I felt totally alone. And then all of a sudden, all of these beings, like the beings that we call upon in the beginning of the class, there were so many crowding in. They were in layers and they were out the bedroom, out into the hallway, out throughout the house, and they were pressing upon each other so intensely. And I mean, every nook and cranny, there was some angel or being or something pressed up against me. And I finally go, stop, I can't breathe. I'm claustrophobic because there were so many, and it made me start hysterically laughing. And I was no longer in that, you know, I felt so alone because there were hundreds of beings pressing upon me. So anyway, I always remember that.
So you really weren't alone.
I really was not alone. No, it was like I needed space to even breathe. And they gave me space when I asked.
It's almost to feel alone, you almost have to try to undo the truth. You have to really want to believe I'm alone. And it's just kind of a crazy effort. We
Yeah.
can give that up and just be with all the
I mean,
angels.
you can, how do I say this? You can mentally try to construct it, but that really doesn't work. It really has to be a felt experience, like I had,
Yeah,
because I've tried to manufacture it through my mind, which
yeah,
anything doesn't really work.
yeah,
You have to drop down into that
yes,
experiential
yes,
space in your heart.
yes.
Yeah.
That's how you brought us in today with the attunement.
Mhm.
Is our head's not going to help us feel like we're not alone. It's our heart that's going to help
Yeah.
us feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank
Mhm.
you, Catherine Ann.
You're welcome.
Okay, Maggie, on the second paragraph, this one's really powerful paragraph, so nice and slow, and we'll probably do it twice. So let's just take it in.
Hmm. So it is that the eternal presence of Yeshua as your friend and brother will reflect back to you your internal. Oops, sorry. My iPad just fell. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. Uh, I'll start again.
Hmm.
So it is that the eternal presence of Yeshua as your friend and brother will reflect back to you your internal good shepherd who cares for you each day, perhaps unseen, yet often felt when you still your mind. Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, Mary Ann, and I are closer than you think. Know that we are even present, applauding the progress you make. We will never interfere, for you are the Lord of your life, which is your kingdom. Your free will choice is always honored, and your individual sovereignty is esteemed. And if, in an eternal now moment, you choose to come face to face with God of love, our co-creator, purpose shall be fulfilled.
Mhm.
Wow. I love that because I feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that first
We will
sentence?
never interfere.
Listen to that first sentence again. So it is that the eternal presence of Yeshua as your friend and brother will reflect back to you your internal good shepherd who cares for you each day. Isn't that interesting? That he's the connection between
It's
eternal
a
and
an
eternal.
int.
Yeah, he's that. He's both. He's the bridge. That's what the Course in Miracles says. He's a
Mhm.
bridge. Yeah. Anybody else on that paragraph?
Internal,
Anything?
eternal.
Anything wanting to be reread? Anything highlighted? So I'm going to continue. It says, perhaps unseen, yet often felt when you still your mind, right? That's kind of a requirement. Still your mind, right? And then Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, Mariana, and I, Anna, are closer than you think. Yeah. Let's go ahead over to Heather before we continue.
Yeah, so then I underlined the part that says, no, we are ever present, applauding the progress you make. We will never interfere, for you are the Lord of your life, which is your kingdom. And your free will choice is always honored.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're here yelling, would you please interfere? Would you please step in?
Yeah, right.
Help here. Come on, come on.
our free choice will, our free will choice is what we make real, whether we make the world real or whether we make eternity real. Your free will choice is always honored, and your individual sovereignty is esteemed. Yeah. Let's just finish it. So, and in an eternal now moment, you choose to come face to face with the God of love. Our co created purpose shall be fulfilled. Wow. That's Anna's purpose and our purpose put together. Co created purpose. Wow. I've always felt that in this book. You know, I've always felt that her purpose is our purpose. We're moving together. And this is a beautiful connection. All right, Christina.
I just wanted to add that I think when that confusion exists or that selflessness or our self, the small self, is taking over, it's our job to go in deeper and deeper within ourselves to find that peace because that's where it lies for me. And I think for all of us, and I think the key is unconditional love. We must just in being we are in unconditional love, and that's what enables everything to work. And it's what's coming and is ever present now. I think we're moving into that more and more. So thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that word unconditional love without condition, without story, without circumstance. Unconditional love. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else? All righty. Then that's the end of chapter 35. Now we go on to a message of hope. So let's go ahead and have James give us two full. Well, first, let's do one paragraph and stop, Jimmy, and then we'll do the second one.
Thank you, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
A Message of Hope, chapter 36. During this time of great chaos, as most of humanity feels despondency and despair, it is vital to instill courage and hope, not just a hope that is founded upon intellectual inquiry or childish fantasy, but a courageous experience of that greater power and eternal life, in which a certain trust and expectation of something better can be fully grounded. From a more expanded viewpoint, you may, on a very personal level, bring Yeshua and Mary Magdalene's eternal example of forgiving, empowering love into your present choices and life's experiences. Through doing so, you can effect harmonious change in the world and midwife the earth into the next golden age of peace, a peace that passes understanding because it fully comforts what has felt comfortless through the power of the divine feminine heart. Ah. Well,
Yeah.
that's a great one. Maybe someone else might be able to describe the divine feminine heart before I give it my worst possible efforts. I love this whole part because going to the back to the opposite page, by aligning your heart, mind, and soul with the Father and Mother of life, it does prepare me for this paragraph. I've spent the better part of about 3 years trying to master forgiving, empowering love into the present choices in my life experiences. Yeah. It means not doing this by myself, Thomas. It means that the courageous experience is to return back to a power that I felt before, that I've always known is there, that has come to me at times of tremendous testing, and to walk away from that, because we've all had those moments where something occurs out of nature that should have never been placed in front of you. And it either runs into you or you run into it, but it could be also a person, place, or thing. And say to yourself, I've got to know more about this. I can't go forward without knowing more. So in this particular case, this page means a lot to me, and it'll come up later because there's some study that's going on within this first page of a message of hope that gets into something that I am very inexperienced at. And if I wrote this down, it's all about, oh gosh. And I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget it, which I obviously have. Yeah, by aligning yourself with the heart, mind, and soul. It's the presence, it's the breath, it's the flow of why we are all here right now and going through this experience, because it's brought up something different for every single one of us. And that's the matrix that goes into building the fabric that is this community. And this community develops and includes the people, places, and things around it. It's going to get nothing but stronger. And I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, James. Well, you brought up, let's have Catherine Ann join in on, let's all define divine feminine heart. Let's make that a little topic. Go ahead, Catherine Ann, start us off.
Well, to me, it's much more a state of being and intuition and those things that are not determined by the external world. And it's the ability to have your presence impact everything. Just like Yeshua and Mary Magdalene's presence. That's, to me, what the divine feminine is at the foundational level.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. Thank you. So I'm going to put a little 2 cents in here. My number one characteristic of the divine feminine heart is receptivity. So that means I need to open up my receptivity to really listen, right? To really receive, to really download, to really participate in the mystery. It requires that feminine characteristic of receptivity. Anybody else? Don't be shy now. Yay, Christina. You're still muted though.
I'm on that same note, Thomas, in that I see it as a state of being, allowing to being open to receiving. And in that receiving, I in turn am able to give and to create. And I think that's what it is for me. It's like you say, it is reception, but then in turn, one in giving and receiving being the same, it enables me to expand, but in that expansion is creation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my
Beautiful.
thought. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is the divine feminine attribute, is creativity. Yeah, the womb heart, where it all comes, where all creativity. Sophia, the divine creatrix. Nice. Thank you, Christina, and over to James.
Let's let Bonnie Jones go first. I like hearing her. She's smarter than me today.
All right,
Well,
Bonnie.
I'm particularly referring to the sentence that says, on a very personal level, bringing Yeshua and Mary Magdalene's eternal example of forgiving, empowering love into your present choices and life experiences. And just recently, I've been experiencing love every single day in a bigger way than I ever have before. And as I share about it, it increases, and whoever I share with has similar experiences to share with me. And I'm just feeling so surrounded by this love that is basically what comes from the divine feminine heart, I think. But um, just the experience of love, the age of love is happening all around me personally, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah. So the divine feminine is love. Yeah. Receptivity of love. All right. Well, James, are you still have something for us? No? Okay. Okay. She's the one. Let's go on over to Maggie.
Hello again, and thank you guys. When Catherine Ann opened up and you used the word magnified, and I already had that written down because for me, the divine feminine heart is magnified in such a way that we are connected to each other. So when we focus on the love and overflowing love of our heart space, we can magnify that love into each one of us. And more, it's all important, but we can connect to Mary Magdalene and to Anna and to Yeshua in this particular moment through magnifying our hearts like you would. I visualize a magnifying glass and lighting, putting it in an exact position where you want that fire to start from the heat of the sun. And that's what my heart feels like, this magnification of love that goes so intensely deep that it creates and allows me to receive. So there is no separation. And it's only expansion and creativity that comes out of it. So it's wholeness and oneness for me. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And when
Thank
you were
you.
speaking, the word alignment came forward, right? Because
Mhm.
you're aligning with all of that. Wow.
That, yeah, with that magnifying glass of our heart,
Uh,
those mirrorites that we have in our heart, like our brain, but they're in our heart. They can do the same exact thing when we focus. But that requires, again, the stillness and the quietude of that moment. And then we can focus that love out individually and collectively.
Yeah.
And it ripples out through all beings. And to me, that's my all day practice. And thank you, Bonnie. That was beautiful. And when you are love, you see only love. So you are love. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Maggie.
Thank you.
All right. James.
Thank you, Thomas. Now I remember it. It was the last sentence for me as it describes the golden age of peace, a peace that passes understanding because it fully comforts what has felt comfortless through the power of the divine feminine heart. Now, where this comes for me is I'm getting shots of Leuperon every 2 months at this point in my life for hormone therapy. So I got a lot of the non-male thing going on in me right now. So I have a problem with getting mad. I have a problem with all of the things that make guys aren't going on in me right now. It's hard to explain this in a clinical sense. And I know that most of my bad decisions are made without thinking clearly and thinking through both sides, my male and female side. And that might require just a little more work and attending to the people that I use for responsible people to evaluate me. And I'm humbled by this paragraph a little bit more now that I read through it again. I like it. Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah. When you were speaking, Jimmy, I got that if we're not alone, then we can go to that source to deal with everything. We're not bodies struggling with chemicals. Well, I mean, we are, it's on one level, but if we're not alone, then we can go to that perspective. Yeah. Nice. Anything else on that before we have Jimmy read the second paragraph? Okay. So Jimmy, if you'll just go up 2 sentences and start from a more expanded viewpoint. If you could start there and take it through the next paragraph, that'd be awesome.
Thank you, Thomas. From a more expanded viewpoint, you may, on a very personal level, bring Yeshua and Mary Magdalene's eternal example of forgiving, empowering love into your present choices and life experiences. Through doing so, you can effect harmonious changes in the world and midwife the earth into the next golden age of peace, a peace that passes understanding, because it fully comforts what has felt comfortless through the power of the divine female heart. Have you, my friend, found a belief in yourself and in a higher source of love that encourages you to live fully in this world and not be hopeless and despairing? The way back to hope always follows an adjustment of perception and attitude, an ability to align with the Divine Mother's capacity to acknowledge and feel emotion without judgment or reactivity. When there is appreciation, forgiveness, and reclaimed innocence, there is courage and hope to live in coherent patterns of love, regardless of the chaos all around. Wow.
Yeah.
Thomas just says you got to be committed to this all the way across. It really does for me. It just cements me in position of, once again, the divine feminine, which I'm really comfortable with in going into that. But it doesn't leave me any clearer when I first experience it, because it's finding out that when you're doing something wrong, not that it's wrong, you've just experienced the wrong part of it. You got to gear up and do it right again. And this gives me very much hope in going back to making direct amends to a few people that I may have harmed in my life recently. Not done it recently, but that I've talked to recently that I had in the past, and how they're coming back to me now for different pieces of information. So the heart expands and the heart contracts depending upon what we're asked to do. And if we feel like we're far away from comfort, take a little list of our top priorities for the last few moments, days, weeks, and something that might be out there as far as still a little bit that we need to chew off and get a little more active with on that. So I like this chapter. 36 is a message of hope all the way around.
Nice. Yeah. Well, good for you, brother. You're making amends. You're making clearings. You're clearing the land. Yeah. For a more expansive view.
Appreciate you, Thomas.
Yeah, man. All right. Thank you, Jimmy. So, any comments on that new paragraph? You know, going back, okay, Christina, 1 second, just going back to the one before that one, there was a phrase that said that we are midwifing the earth into the next golden age. Isn't that a great term, midwifing? So there we are. We're bringing in the new birth. Yeah, with, care and presence. Yeah, we're midwifing the next golden age of peace. All right, let's go on over Christina first and then Maggie.
I was just going to comment on that midwifing, and that is, to me, such a great reference to the divine feminine, right? We are the birthers, the creators. And Jimmy, I wanted to say real quickly, for me, what I found, because I think that when your health is being challenged, or at least we think it is, the form is, for me, that the best thing I can do for myself is to be, not work at it, not worry about what's right, what's wrong, not judging myself for what I've done, forgiving myself and surrendering into being. And in being, the peace is there and everything is right. And we don't have to work at being. We have to work at quieting our minds, but we don't have to work once we're in. Yeah. So I just thought that might be helpful. It works for me. So anyway, thank you.
Nice. Thank you. What a great contrast between working the problem or just being who you are, being your true identity through the problem. Yeah. Thank you, Christina. Let's go on over to Catherine Ann and we'll see, what you have.
So I know many of you have heard me talk about the Magdalens, and here it is again, from Anna, that the Magdalens are the midwives of the shift of consciousness. She said it exactly here. You can affect harmonious change in the world and midwife the earth into the next golden age of peace. That's exactly, what I've been sharing, that the purpose of the Magdalens is as midwives of the shift of consciousness. So I'm always surprised. I don't know why I would be surprised, but when, something I've been saying or teaching for a long time is specified in the books, I always find it very comforting and confirming.
Nice. Yes, comforting and confirming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Let's go on over to Christy. Hi there.
A reminder for everybody, Anna, Saint Anne, patron saint of midwives, midwifery, women in labor. So here we are learning from her as we, what they just said. So I just wanted to let everyone know that.
Yeah.
And I bought this little pamphlet. I got a couple pamphlets of hers. I was at this church not too long ago. And in this pamphlet, they talk about Joachim, her husband, her first husband, um, Mother Mary's dad. So I thought that was funny. And then just so everyone knows, the feast day of Saint Anne is coming up July 26th.
Nice. Well, we celebrate her every day, but
Yeah.
and every Thursday for sure. But you know what, Christy, you used the word labor. Isn't that interesting that there is a time of, I guess, discomfort or pain in bringing forth this new dispensation? So that word labor struck me as part of it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's go on over to Maggie.
Hi, thank you. This kind of explains the exhaustion. If anybody else is at a point of, whoa, okay, I'm going to have to go right into a dark room and take care of this because I have no choice. I have to birth this shift in consciousness. And every week, without fail, and then throughout the week. So the surrendering, Christina, that you said, and just being, allowing, just allow yourself to be in that precious gift of a moment that we're given. And the exhaustion is the midwifing of what we're birthing. So it's a gift. Lay down and shut up. and and thank every part of it because it's so unconditionally loving. There couldn't be more love surrounding that bit of tiredness or whatever it is. Who we don't have to name it. It doesn't matter what it is. We are being asked to be. And in that beingness, the expansiveness and this new consciousness is being allowed to birth through us so we can continue to ripple out this consciousness to raise up the planet and to help this planet. They use the word chaos, but I don't feel any part of that chaos. I just feel love and stillness and connectiveness in this expansion. So thank you. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I think the women on this call that have delivered babies would probably know something I don't know about the surrender it takes to allow that process, even though I'm sure there's moments of probably terror, but I guess you have to allow it to complete itself. So, wow, surrender through the process. Anybody that's had babies want to
I
share
haven't
about?
had a baby.
Yeah, okay. Anybody on
No
this call?
baby.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay then.
I'll add. I'll add.
Yeah,
Uh,
go ahead, Christina.
yeah, just the challenges of, and again, the word labor, right? That's all the work that it
Mm,
takes
mm,
to, as your body prepares for the delivery. Um, and I found it very helpful to do some trying anyway, meditations during that process so that I wasn't so focused on what was happening with my body.
mm,
Um, and knowing that when this was all over, um, a new life was coming into this world and welcome, beautiful being. Here we go. I just, it didn't go easy. It ended up with surgery, but for 34 hours, I tried real hard to make it happen right. And then when the baby wasn't cooperating, I knew there had to be another way. And Jim, as far as those female hormones, be glad it doesn't bring on a monthly and you're not vulnerable to pregnancy. So I found out the other day, though, that in seahorses, it is the male that is pregnant. The female deposits her eggs into him, and he swims in the sea with a big expanded belly of eggs. So there are males that can carry.
That's a new one on me.
Yeah, I thought that was remarkable. Anyway, enough. Bye.
Well, appreciate what you said though. During the pain, you went to meditation, you went outside and let the body do what it has to do, and you put yourself somewhere else. That sounds really important for what we're all going through. Yeah. Not to focus on the exterior so much. Yeah. All right. Anybody else on that last paragraph? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I'm just quickly reading. Okay. All right, then let's go on to Bonnie Jones reading for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I now offer you is a model or paradigm from which to view Yeshua's and your initiations while being in the midst of chaotic planetary crucifixion and resurrection. This is a new model of coherency dynamics based on the science of quantum mechanics and chaos theory. In your day, there is research being done that indicates that a person's well-being and actual state of health is enhanced when his or her mind, emotions, and body are in harmonious relationship with one another, a coherent energy field.
Well, yeah, we
And,
could pause it. Go ahead, Marty. Go ahead.
it sure does make sense that being in balance with ourselves, in a harmonious relationship with ourselves. And I've been hearing the word coherence quite a bit recently also. So these are all effective words and concepts that are part of our lives right now and well worth being grateful for.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. Before we read the second paragraph, Bonnie, let's just see if there's any comments on that paragraph. I appreciate that word coherency too. It says there, this is a new model of coherency dynamics based on the science of quantum mechanics and chaos theory. So Allah and I have done some Joe Dispenza, and he uses that word for coherency between mind and heart. When those two are one, it's a big difference. And that's what this says to me, this new model of coherency dynamics. Anybody else on that stuff? Yeah, let's hear from Jimmy.
Thank you, Thomas. I was trying to do a little bit of study on this because it's not quite as incoherent as you might want to think it is. Quantum mechanics and chaos theory came out of science. And science was looking for a way to explain what happens when temperatures change, when physical properties change. And it was because they couldn't explain, due to scientific theory, what was going on, that there were deviations in the universe. And if we look at this above and below, at the very bottom sentence, it says harmonious relationship with one another as a coherent energy field. And in the sentence above that I read, a harmonious change in the world. I like to think of that like the bowls or the muting of strings on an instrument where everything comes in harmony. And it's not perfect, but it is for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So this chaos is when we can affect each other by changing a simple word, a meaning, a smile. I don't want to reflect on too many experiences, around people, but when there's someone around you who's gregarious and open and introduces themselves to everyone in the room, it's contagious. And it can be done on a very small level as well. And I find that the people that habitually wave, initiate conversation, and do the "how you doing?" I like to get to know you, whatever. You seem interesting. What are you doing? What are you working on? When those come across and they connect with you, don't be a stranger to it. Someone's interested in you. One way or the other, go with it, because we do look away, which is the death and deadliness of the screens that guide a few too many people's lives in this world. But I love this one. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, that relationship, right? When people are interested, yeah, it's the relationship. It's funny when you mentioned about things affecting things. When I looked up the chaos theory, it mentioned the butterfly effect. Isn't that interesting? Part of the chaos theory is the butterfly effect, and Christy's got a butterfly for us. It looks like so. The flapping of the wings can actually affect the other side of the world. So apparently, that's part of the chaos theory. How interesting. Yeah. So our extending love can affect everything, everything. So we are midwifing this new birth. Yeah. All right. Any other comments? That we're going to have Bonnie read her second paragraph. Okay, Bonnie.
Those involved in this research have found that the most coherent field is subjectively called love and appreciation. When discordant, limiting time space perception shifts into quantum, holistic awareness, spacious, embracing love and appreciation, there is healing or reestablished order, balance, and wholeness. Another way to look at this is to see crucifixion, resurrection, and ascension as those processes that return incoherence to coherency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. And in my thoughts have been small concepts that are turning into just magnitude of importance and understanding. Thank you so much for having me read these paragraphs.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah. 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 Let's we're gonna read that again, but let's see if there's any comments first on that paragraph.
Something else I'm just noticing is that finally there's some expression of science and love being similar.
The bridging of science and love. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay. If there isn't any more comments, let's go on to some reading here. So Ian's asking who the narrator is, and it's Anna, as far as I know, right? This is Anna speaking, narrating. Okay, let's have Heather read us two paragraphs in a row, but Heather, let's start with the one that Bonnie just read, those involved, and let's take it on through the second one, nice and slow.
Those involved in this research has found that the most coherent field is subjectively called love and appreciation. When discordant, limiting time-space perception shifts into quantum holistic awareness, spacious, embracing love and appreciation. And when that happens, there is healing or reestablished order, balance, and wholeness. Another way to look at this is to see crucifixion, resurrection, as and ascension as those processes that return incoherence to coherency. What? Crucifixion? Do you want me to keep going the next one?
Yes, please.
You may choose this new perspective as an opportunity to liberate yourself from unquestioned, blind beliefs that have kept you ignorant and fearful. Some would call my coherency model of crucifixion and resurrection heretical, and some would call blasphemous what I will share with you about my interdimensional understanding of Yeshua's experiences. While what I offer is a kind of expose, it is in order to unveil what has been hidden, is most definitely not intended to replace one truth or dogma with another. My intention is to shake old limiting thought forms and to awaken more coherent, self-empowering, and loving ways to be in relationship with your creator, yourself, and your neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah. So on that second paragraph, the very first sentence, it says, liberate yourself from unquestioned blind beliefs that have kept you ignorant and fearful. This is an important point. We really need to look at our limiting beliefs and not let them run the show. We have to call them out. We question them. They're not true. And think it's Byron Katie said, no belief is true. So, and when we question it, we become conscious and we get to make a choice. When we don't question it, it runs the show unconsciously. So this is a really important point. And it's going to come up again in our reading. But let's go ahead and see if there's any other comments on that paragraph. So Catherine Ann, the next sentence I'd like to get your opinion on. The next sentence says, some would call my coherency model of crucifixion and resurrection heretical. What do you think might be disturbing to some about her view?
Well, I think she's comparing it to the staunch biblical account. And what she's bringing up is to shake out the limiting thought forms, and they're instilling those thought forms. They're trying to bring that sense of horror and all of that to the crucifixion, the resurrection, and they really don't even go into ascension much. They get stuck on the crucifixion. Yeah. So I think that's what she's addressing.
Good. Thank you. And that's a really good point. It's going to come up that way too as she starts to continue this dialogue. I think what you just said is perfect. Yeah, thank you. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's start. Okay, so let's see our next reading. Let's have Christina read, and we're going to start, instead of starting off at today's ascension process, let's go up one sentence and start from there. My intention.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My intention is to shake old limiting thought forms and to awaken more coherent, self-empowering, and loving ways to be in relationship with your creator, yourself, and your neighbors. Today's ascension process that brings about global patterns of coherency or unity does not require going behind cloistered walls or taking prolonged sanctuary with master teachers. as we did in the old paradigm. Mother Earth and your life is your empowerment school. You have all kinds of support available to help you attain your self mastery. There is the loving support of your ascending Earth Mother, awakening peers, books, seminars, alternative healing modalities, and a broad synthesis that works of what works, distilled from many spiritual paths. There is also assistance to be received from the incoming children who bring their immense love and mastery to the earth plane. Although unseen, you may also receive guidance from ascended masters and angels.
Mhm. Isn't that interesting? The incoming children who bring their immense love and mastery to the earth plane. Yeah. 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 Before we do the next paragraph, it says, Mother Earth and your life is your empowerment school. Earth school, as Jan Dieter likes to say. Anybody else on that? Okay.
I
Go
just
ahead,
wanted to,
Christina.
oh, sorry, I was just going to real quickly say when Catherine
Yeah.
Ann described all the people feeling alone and all the light bodies present, flooding, sort of suffocating you in that with their love, is your unseen, the unseen reception guidance from those angels and ascended masters.
Mm.
So, and I hope they're with you now because we're certainly praying for that for you.
Mm.
With lots of love, Catherine Ann. Sorry
Yeah.
to, I just had to say that.
No, perfect. Thank you, Christina. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That Catherine Ann's going through a loss right now. Just came back from Rhode Island. Yeah, let's go ahead and check in with Catherine Ann.
Yeah. I was just going to make the point that this was almost 25 years ago that this was channeled through Claire, and it seems very relevant to today.
Mm.
But that was a long time ago, to bring in this focus on, comparing the difference that she's bringing forth about how to be more cohesive in your own self and with your neighbors and with the unseen world and the teachings and all of that. So I just wanted to, remind people that the world wasn't as receptive
Mm-hmm.
25 years ago as it
Yeah.
is now. Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
quantum energy fields. I
Right,
mean, that was
right.
just coming in, and
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she mentioned self-empowering, which is removing it from, the mediators, the church,
Mhm. Mhm.
priesthood, whatever. So
Yeah.
trying to bring sovereignty back to the people, making their own choices, that Gnostic view.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm. So I'm not sure if Maggie, if you're talking to us, if you are, you're muted.
Hi. Yes, Catherine Ann. I'm sorry. I'm just, our hearts go out to you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know if everyone on the call knows my mom passed away last Saturday.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been hard.
Mm.
And, we were there with hospice, and it's hard to watch somebody actively dying. And, for the last year and a half, I called my mom almost every single day. So I'm realizing that's a huge gap in my life now. I'm so, impelled to go call. And, I don't have the clear connection yet, nor I don't think she's done with whatever you do when you pass. I think you have to go through a whole transition on the other side because I don't really feel her around yet. So I don't think that process is finished. So,
Yeah.
And in losing loved ones, I feel that we have to remember it's eternal. And
yeah.
we were blessed with such incredible love that now we almost pay the price with pain of loss.
Yeah.
And that's all part of healing. I mean, if it was some terrible being, you wouldn't be feeling that way, right? There's people that don't have that relationship. So thank God every moment and yourself that you had such a beautiful connection. And one day you'll be together. I don't know what, because this has guided me through my loss is, and, I don't know what form, but I truly believe. So I hope that will give you peace, and you can always call me.
Okay. That's what I was going to say.
Every day.
You want to call your mom, call me.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
I love you.
I'm just so happy you got that week with her.
Yep.
I'm sorry to interrupt this class, but it's really important to share this.
Yeah, it's fine. And that's why I wasn't on the calls last week. I mean, we had a family call on Tuesday, and then Wednesday morning we had to make a decision. And we all got on a plane that same day, which was really good because we got there like a Thursday midday, and she passed at 3:20 in the morning on Saturday. She didn't regain consciousness because they had already started the morphine, through hospice before we got there. But
and it's
anyway.
grueling and exhausting and waiting and the watching all of that, and you'll get your energy back. It will come. Just stay
and then
open.
there's family dysfunction. There are 5 of us. There's family dysfunction on top of it.
Every family, is there not?
I would be surprised if there wasn't.
There isn't, I don't know.
Right.
But that's okay. But just know once you get a little bit of rest and stay open to receiving all the prayers, because you are so deeply loved, and
we're very loved.
We're all sending them.
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Love you.
Love you all too.
You too.
Yeah.
And Catherine Ann, there's no regrets because you called your mom every single day for years.
Yeah,
so,
I did.
No regrets. You were there for her.
Yeah.
And actually, it's an absolute honor to be with somebody when they go.
Yeah.
To be the ones who are there. It's really very honoring.
Yeah. Yeah, my sister was there when she actually passed because it was the middle of the night. But my brother John and I, as soon as she called, we went back to the hospital, and they were wonderful. I mean, they let us in at like 3:30 in the morning, Yeah, and we spent about an hour and a half. So that was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can call me.
Okay, thank you.
It starts with Mom, Maggie. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you, Catherine Ann, for sharing. Yeah. All right. Let's have Christy read us on a little bit.
Okay. This paragraph means a lot to me, so thank you for asking me, Thomas.
Okay.
Your initiatory experiences will most likely be different from Yeshua's, such as being nailed to a cross. But in essence, they are similar. Before we explore this further, let me offer a fuller explanation of what I mean by initiation. An initiation is the inner directed experience that takes you over the threshold of irreversible change. In the initiations of resurrection and ascension, your former limited identity transforms into a more expansive awareness of inherent potential. This is illustrated in the transformational initiatory process demonstrated by the butterfly that emerges into a new life resurrected from its crucified caterpillar life.
Yeah, let's pause there before you read the next bunch. We'll let you read the next thing too, but let's just see. Can you tell us more about how this was important for you, this paragraph?
Yeah, so earlier this year, I would say I was spiritually crucified and went through a death and rebirth process when I went to, I'm drawing a blank. I did a ceremony for myself. And if you guys study astrology and whatnot, I was having what's called a nodal return. And on the day of my nodal return of my south node, that's in Virgo, there was an eclipse. And that day, I don't know how to explain it, but I knew that there was something changing within me. And what I experienced was my crucifixion. My soul was being crucified. It was my crucifixion initiation. And I wanted to read to everyone today the glossary, the definition of it in the back of this book.
Mm-hmm.
Crucifixion initiation, the rite of passage in which the initiate's separation consciousness. Oops. Sorry. Can you see me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Crucifixion initiation, the rite of passage in which the initiate's separation consciousness is fully acknowledged and its transmutation has begun. So that was the day that I started to make the change. And then one thing else I wanted to read to you guys, since we were talking about butterflies and the crucified caterpillar life. The paragraph right before in this book that goes into the Last Supper, so the chapter before that last paragraph, Anna talks about there need not be suffering during crucifixion's birth contractions when your attention is on the caterpillar's true self taking flight as the butterfly. And then the very next words, we go into the Last Supper in the book. So I've really studied all of this a lot since I went through this transformational process for myself. So I experienced my crucifixion initiation, and then the first day when I did this ceremony for myself, on the first day, I was reborn from my chrysalis, and I was a butterfly, and I didn't understand what had happened. And I felt my, I don't know who, my guides, whoever, was like, read the book, read the book. And whatever, I opened the book and I'm fumbling through the book. I'm like, what am I looking at here? And all of this popped out at me. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I had gone through this process for myself. And then on the last day of this pilgrimage that I did, I actually died and was reborn. And I met my Christ self, my divine self. Yeshua and Mary Magdalene came to me. So I would say I had a personal experience of going through this process, but in a small way. And I'm very grateful for it. And I'm grateful now to read the book and to see the little glimpses where I read it now and I'm like, oh, I know what she means, because I had gone through it. So this paragraph really means a lot to me, because when I was reborn on the first night, I felt myself that I was crucified, but being reborn from a chrysalis, I was like, what the heck just happened to me? And then to hear Anna in here say it, and I was like, oh, it's okay. Like, now I know the process that I went through and the birthing and the soul contractions that you have. So it really means a lot to me, and I'm happy to share and talk about it with anyone if you guys are ever going through it with yourselves. But thank you.
Mhm. Thank you, Christy. And you read that definition in the back of the book, and it says something about fully acknowledging the separation. That's almost like a rock bottom experience. Like you have to get to that fully acknowledged feeling of separation
Yeah,
for the initiation to start its process.
right. I didn't know another way to change. The person who was ruining my life was me. The person to blame everything in my life, it was me. And I didn't know that.
Mhm.
So I had to be crucified. It was like, oh, it was me. Oh, I have to change. I was like, oh, I didn't know. So that was the process I went through.
What a revelation.
Right.
Coming out of victim consciousness and
Yeah.
owning that it's always been me. How freeing is that? That's the true initiation
Yeah.
into the truth of who you are. Because you are the all of everything. You cannot be a victim of anything.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm the one who made all these choices.
So I'm going to read a definition in the middle of what you just read, the middle of that paragraph. It says, here's the definition. An initiation is that inner directed experience that takes you over the threshold of irreversible change. There is no going back. There is no going back. That's courageous. Good job, Christy. Right? That's courageous to go forward. All right, let's check in with Catherine Ann.
So, just going through this experience with my mom, death is the most intense initiation probably that as humans we go through. And I've had a couple conversations with Claire in the middle of this process, and she had taken some kind of course. And when you're going through death, you are being freed on all of these dimensional levels. And the earth elements of the body are slowly, bit by bit, being released. So just what we're talking about this initiation process. It's a complete, obvious life change, that you can't go back, especially when you're busy releasing at multidimensional levels all of the earth elements. So we've had some interesting conversations, Claire and I, throughout this process.
Mhm.
So, and
Oh,
things I didn't know about it. So I
nice.
just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And
Mhm.
let's check in with Christina.
Yeah, on that note, I was listening to BK Shabani, who is in the Hindi world, and one of the things she mentioned was the importance of us lovingly sending those that have passed onward. Because as you said, we are shedding that earthly attachment or whatever it is that binds the elements that bind, and as we go into an ethereal plane, there is a certain amount of, I mean, the people that are leaving probably have some sadness too. I mean, they don't want to be away from their loved ones. This is what they've known. And to hold them back is a very selfish, she describes it as a very selfish act. And it's our responsibility to send them with love and peace so that they find their journey easier, because they're not just gone. They're journeying into all of this. They're going through an ascension process. And I imagine that guy, Jonathan Ashworth, would have more to talk about what happens when you leave the people. What is your experience to those that you're leaving, and how just very important it is to pray for them to have, a great journey. So
Mhm.
anyway, I just wanted to add that.
Mhm. Thank you, Christina. All right, Catherine Ann.
I'll just addressing this a little bit more.
Mhm.
My mom, my mom was 98 when she died. And she was so attached to her children. She didn't want to leave. She didn't want to leave her children. And I don't think she ever thought that she would really die.
Mm.
So the hospice nurse, because the hospice nurse was really surprised that she hadn't passed at least a day or more before she did. She was hanging on so much.
Mm.
So she directed each one of us one at a time to go and tell my mother that
Mm.
we were going to be okay,
Uh,
that she didn't have to stay to try to, even though for
yeah,
years she hasn't been able to physically do anything to
yeah.
help us really. But we each individually had to go and
Mhm.
tell her that we would be okay and
Mhm.
to help her move along. And I told her she needed to go join the party on the other side. And so it was very much a part of this process that the
Wow.
hospice nurse, you know, really
So,
said that we needed to do with her because she was hanging on so tight.
sounds
Yeah.
like a very intuitive hospice nurse to pick up on that.
Oh, yeah.
That your mom needed to be released, like permission to leave. It's we got
Yes.
this, mom. We're
Right.
good.
Right.
Yeah.
And we each had to do that. Yeah. And
Mm.
she's like one of us. And, she knew it was okay to share. She goes, oh, yeah, the room is crowded. They're all here. She's very much like one of us. So we had a really good hospice nurse. Yeah.
Nice,
So,
nice.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're out of time. I'd like to invite anybody who hasn't said a word. Um, if you have anything to say, we'd love to have your voice in the circle. If you're off camera, you might be off camera for a reason, so no pressure. And if there isn't any other comments, then we will turn to Catherine Ann for our departing attunement.
Okay.
All right.
So again, center in your heart and center in your caterpillar body that is presently turning into a butterfly. And that just know that it's going to be inevitable that you will transition into a new life, into that of the butterfly, into that of the resurrected Christ Magdalene, and into that has much more expansive awareness, wisdom, understanding, ability to teach, help, impact, and that we're all in that process, especially working with each other as we read through these books that are giving us the blueprint. Sending gratitude to Anna and the Councils of Light and all the characters and the chrysalis and the butterfly, and knowing that this is how we can make a difference now. So be it.
Thank you, Catherine Ann.
Mm-hmm.
And thank everybody for all your contributions to make this meeting what it is. Very heartfelt. Thank you for everybody. Yeah. Love you guys.
Love
See you
you
next
too.
week.
Thank you. Love you guys.